Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 77 for July 27th, 2022. I am Nemesis and I am joined by Alcatraz here.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the world of anime news. I'm trying to think of what was, of course, summer stuff started off. I've watched the first episode of Love Live Superstars. The second one is not available quite yet as of recording, even though it's aired. Because it's like first season, there's this weird delay because of, and the broadcasting channel has exclusive rights for like a couple days.
Licensing always screws everything up.
So it's really annoying. So no simulcast, you have to wait a few days or pirate.
Yar.
Which I'm, got Crunchyroll subscription, I'm gonna use it. But anyway, a couple of anime I definitely want to check out, but I'm kind of waiting till we get our little selection going.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, I can't think of much anime-wise that I can off the top of my head anyway.
Yeah.
That's it I think of.
Yeah, Western stuff is happening, but that's not anime.
Yeah, it's not anime at all.
As much as some people may want to think.
The only thing I can think of is, Zombieland Saga Revenge finally is up for pre-order for the US.
Right.
But I can't order the next album they announced coming out because apparently Avex, who's the one publishing the album, does not allow exporting, which is stupid. Okay, I got Google. Hey, it's right there. Amazon Japan. Try to add it to my cart. We can't deliver to your address. CD Japan doesn't even list it. Probably won't until after it's out, and I'll have to wait till then. So bleh.
Bleh.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about that stuff. We're here to talk about an anime that finish airing its first half. Spy Family, we talked about that back in the little sampler for the spring season. And yeah, so there's a couple things there we've already talked about. But yeah, it's you may be aware of, it's about a spy named, going by the codename Twilight, and for this, most of this going by Lloyd Forger. And he has the assignment to basically stop war by convincing what's his face, Donovan Desmond, I believe.
Desmond, yeah.
Desmond. But anyway, he has to stop him because he apparently has some ideas about, bringing war to the West and whatnot. He has to do that by pretending to be married and have a child who can get into Eden College. And of course, he winds up adopting a kid named Anya, who's secretly a telepath, and marrying a woman named Yuri, who is actually an assassin.
Yep.
And that's the setup we went with last time. And I will say this right now, from the get-go, it does not stop. Ever. That goes full bore, 100% all the way to the end.
Yeah. Yeah, no breaks on that train.
Yeah, it's again a lot of fun to watch still. Those first 3 episodes were like that just the tip of the iceberg. It gets even better later on, honestly. Because we were really excited for it, if you remember. So yeah, that's the setup. You got Anya the telepath, You're the assassin, and Twilight / Lloyd the spy. And it just gets a little wild from there. And again, it's interesting because you get this whole spy thing and Operation Strix and all that stuff and trying to prevent war, but it's mostly about these 3 dorks.
Yeah, the whole lore around it really seems to be just like the excuse to watch them deal with the day-to-day.
Yeah. Which is just funny because 2 of them, Lloyd and Yor, both are operating under the assumption that they're not a real family, even though it's pretty clear they are by this point.
And by this point, they just don't know it yet.
Papa and Mom are flirting. No, we're not.
That was great.
And Anya kind of getting half of things right, and then just kind of goofing it up because she's 4.
Yeah,
claiming to be 6.
Yes. She's quote unquote 6.
Yeah, and all that stuff. And the thing is, the anime also introduces a bunch of characters that pop up after those first 3 episodes, like Desmond.
Damien. Is it Damon or Damien?
Yeah, Damien. Who, despite the name, is apparently not the Antichrist. I don't know. If you remember the movie The Omen.
I have not.
But yeah, in The Omen, the kid was named Damien because, Damien sounds a lot like demon.
Oh.
Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, basically, who's the Antichrist. So it's like, my whole thing is like, it's oh my God, his name is Damien. Shoot him right now before it's too late.
Didn't The Omen take place in Seattle or something like that?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched it.
It was a book.
Yeah. But there's also Becky Blackwell, who winds up befriending Anya and also is encourages Anya to dislike Damien because Damien's just a jerk.
Damien is kind of a jerk.
He's also got a couple of his little toady buddies and whatnot, and there's a couple other guys, and there's also the the teachers and whatnot.
Yes, the teachers. They introduce the interview. Holy crap, the interview scene.
Yes, the interview.
The old guy who's very much about elegance. All about elegance. Then I can't remember the nicer teacher who has a really nice family and loves seeing other people with really nice families. And then the jerk teacher who's just lost his family.
He just went through a divorce and now he's taking it out on everyone else.
Yep.
And that's one of those things that just shows that Lloyd genuinely cares about Anya, but he doesn't seem to quite haven't made that connection consciously because he was all ready to just.
He was able to stop himself.
Yep.
God, that try to keep face, but he's
that does not call attention to himself.
Yeah, that the teacher talks about Anya's first mother, and it triggers some reaction within her. She starts crying. And that was it.
Yeah, like her real mother.
Yes.
Her birth mother.
Yep. And there comes Lloyd with a fist.
It's just interesting watching that Lloyd, particularly for Lloyd, for him, the whole thing is, the crux of the matter is he has never really cared about people like this, and for him, so it's a whole foreign feeling for him, and he doesn't really know how to handle, and we see that. He doesn't really know how to handle the idea that he actually cares about people to this degree. Like, he cares about people in the broader sense,
that's why he does what he does.
So no child has to cry ever again. But he's never had this something this personal, and he doesn't know how to handle it, and that's kind of part of the appeal, at least for Lloyd. Anya, her whole thing, and she knows what's going on, their secrets, and for her, it's like a large chunk of it is also just very much a to her, it's almost fun times.
Yeah.
Again, as we talked about, so it's like. She's trying to help, the whole thing. She understands that she has to befriend Damien for the sake of world peace. She doesn't fully understand everything, but she kind of gets that. And she's trying, even though she just does not like Damien at all. Because immediately he just was just a pompous jerk to her. And that was just, one of the things her mom taught her to, Yuri taught her to, just to grin and bear it. And she had that, the head face.
Yep. That smug that's posting everywhere.
Yeah. And then I just love that one scene where it's just like Damien just kept pushing, and then finally we just see a fire in her eyes, and I just love that she actually had the detail of she looks over, sees the teacher,
not looking,
and then just jacks him because she takes that other lesson from her mom about how to defend herself.
Yep. And holy crap, can she throw a punch?
Yes.
Straight into the wall.
Yeah, and she gets in trouble for that, but after, and I love also the one part I love also the sheer audacity she had of saying he ran into my fist.
Yeah, that was great. I just held my fist out. His head just exploded like that. Can you?
I love that. Just she actually tried to do that.
Yep.
Of course, afterwards, Damien's trying to figure out why his chest feels funny whenever he looks at her. And then we even get to see through his little filter of every single time he looks at her, he sees this cute girl, and that's why he got a crush. She hit him, and he got a crush on her because I think it's the whole thing is she's the first person to ever really define him.
Yeah, it's someone isn't just groveling at my feet because of my family kind of a thing. It's a trope that comes up relatively often. Yeah. When you get the rich popular person, everyone just falls for me, and it's I don't care about any of them because they just want my popularity.
Yep.
And then the one person who doesn't give a rip about your popularity is okay, now I'm falling in love with you. Why?
Yeah. And it has a lot that's inspired a lot of people to be on. Of course, I've seen a ton of fan art of an older Damien and Anya being all flirty and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here Anya doesn't like him at all. You're not taking that into a consideration. I just like the idea later on, way on. They're 16, 17 years old or whatever, and all she has to do is raise her fist up, and he just flinches.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Watching those two, the relationship between those two, and all the stuff going on at school, befriending Becky. That's an interesting one. Apparently, Becky's also connected high up.
Mm-hmm. Blackwell Heavy Industries.
Yep. So it's like, yeah, I know Lloyd was first. Oh no, you're getting in the way. Hey, wait a minute. That's so and so's daughter. This may actually be beneficial.
We also thought it was like he might be also some sort of agent to try to disrupt everything. No, that's ridiculous.
Yep, because Lloyd's logic starts to break down when it comes to stuff surrounding Anya.
Yep, and the mission.
And the mission, yes. And crazy things that he does. Like the whole thing with getting her to apologize. Mm-hmm. All the notes.
Yeah, the other
thing
about
say
Anya,
sorry and whatnot.
Yeah, all that stuff. But another thing about Anya, she kind of understands that what she's doing is important, but she's really struggling because, well, again, she's 4.
A child.
She's kind of struggling. She's trying. I mean, like even stuff like she understands that there's like at this point there's kind of 2 ways to make the mission work: be really studious or befriend Damien.
Yep.
And the problem is studious. She's even told her that. Lloyd there that I'll study hard but she has a hard time with it. She doesn't want to do it. We even see that she's willing to try though, and although
it didn't go very well, but she did try. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing there was there's an interesting thing was to point out, which like she has a hard time clear with a lot of this stuff. She's not making the connection for a lot of the math, for example.
Right.
Like she's not even understand about, breaking things into fifths,
the fractions.
But then once it popped up on her TV show that she loves, all of a sudden she gets it.
2 out of 8 of bullets.
How'd you figure that out?
The funny thing is that same line has popped up a couple times, and like twice Lloyd has recognized that, wait, she get that from the show? But they haven't, but at least in these episodes they haven't taken it anywhere yet. But it has been referenced twice. Mm-hmm. That's been referenced. Yeah. So again, that is another common trope I see, is like not getting it, and then if you present it in a different way that already ties in with an existing interest, it helps them make the connection.
Yeah, another thing which is about Anya there, which is I've seen this sentiment a lot, which is she actually feels like a child and not an adult playing a child.
Yes. Yes,
it's so many times we see this with just anything like voice like this. Just it's hard to buy them as a kid because it just sounds like just an adult trying to sound like a kid. Mm-hmm. And she actually comes across as a child.
Yep, she sounds like a child with a little. I mean, I don't know Japanese and Japanese accents enough to hear, babies speak in Japanese and recognize it as such. Yeah. But it's funny that they do subtitle it as baby speak too.
Yeah,
at least on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, and the other thing is what's sad is also she's able to trick people, trick Lloyd specifically and Yor, because, partly telepath, but it's like some of this stuff is like, she's 4, how are you falling for this?
She's a bit mature for being her age.
To
a degree.
And the thing about Yor, and I think a lot of people have said this and I kind of agree, which is Yor doesn't seem to get to do much at this point.
Yeah,
she's kind of just there for large chunks of it. But it was kind of I'm hoping she gets more, because like,
yeah,
she's interesting, but we don't get a whole lot about her quite yet. The other thing which was you get little flashes of that stuff like there, like the castle episode where after Anya gets rewarded, and how does Lloyd, she wants to reenact a thing from her favorite TV show.
They rent out the castle.
Lloyd has to save her from in the castle and everything, and then they got the little informant Frankie guy to help out too, and he sends Yor after, who's at this point wasted because she can't handle alcohol, and even though she's wasted, she's actually going to kick Lloyd's butt, for real. She's actually, it's that they show right there, like Yor is a better fighter than Lloyd.
Yep.
Until the only reason is her heel broke and she just kind of fell down and fell asleep because
she's wasted. Apparently, she's also a very lightweight when it comes to alcohol.
Apparently, the Briars are very much lightweights in general, as we find out with her brother Yuri.
With her brother, yes.
Yuri. Oh boy, Yuri is unfortunately kind of embodies the a little too love your sister a little too much.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's weird because initially, particularly with that first thing, he was talking to her on the phone, and before he actually appeared about she needs to get married and stuff. He seemed to be okay with that, but then now she's actually married, she's freaking out, and turns out, oh no, he loves his sister too much, which is weird, and a lot of people are uncomfortable with it, and I get why people are uncomfortable with it because it is creepy.
It is creepy,
but it does show that it is creepy and weird, and he's just a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. So it's one of those weird things that kind of push and pull of like, is it, if some people have argued that that this sort of character is just inherently bad and it's never ever okay just because it's just too much, There's too many of these kind of characters in anime, and so just having this character, even if you point out the fact that they're creepy and weird, you can't do that. I'm just like, I don't really bite into that. Like,
I think when you're specifically pointing out that it's bad, it actually can help offset the effect of saturating the market with the character type, because now you're saturating it with the it's bad idea.
Yeah.
So it can offset the problems of it showing up.
Yeah, one thing I did like, Yuri just could not handle the idea that you're and Lloyd are together or whatever, or pretending to be together, he didn't know. And he just, starts drinking, immediately just gets wasted too, and then demands that they prove that they're married because they reacted weird when they touched hands.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to prove it, and then Yor gets herself drunk to try to handle it, and then then she's like, no, I can't do it, and then tries to slap Lloyd. Lloyd dodges, and she winds up slapping Yuri, and he goes flying across the room.
Yep. Ends up doing it twice.
Yep. And then he's, of course, bleeding, and it's like, Lloyd's like, hey, you're bleeding. And then Yuri
just storms out.
Seriously, you're bleeding. And also Lloyd, of course, figures out that Yuri is, by the way, part of the secret police.
Yep.
Why? Because he wants to protect Yor.
Yep.
So Yor and Yuri have secrets from each other too.
Yep. Because neither Yor nor Yuri know what either one actually does.
Yep. And what I really love is we show that Yor's been doing this assassination thing for a long time because she's younger. She's like a teenager, and here she got coming home covered in blood, and Yuri freaks out, but she's like, look, I got you your dictionary you wanted.
Well, did she walk in? Was that the one who walks in with, oh, don't worry, it's not mine.
Yeah.
I got you there. When you walk in the door covered in blood, and your response is, don't worry, it's not mine.
That doesn't make me worry less. That makes me more worried.
That makes me worry in a very different way, but not any less.
What are you doing? Don't worry. But yeah, it's like, I just like that fun. Yuri just didn't seem to really, like, at first he protests, but he was very easily distracted.
Yes.
So it's like, that's alarming. Yeah, she's been doing this for a while.
But also apparently Yuri is apparently good at his job.
Yeah. His whole secret police thing, which is...
We've only seen one small part of him doing that so far, but... Yeah.
Except when he gets drunk, in which case he just forgets to do things like bug the apartment.
Yep. Yep. Although, it is also interesting. They've already set up the, I guess, sort of not quite rivalry idea between those two. So Yuri is already established as, wanting to find Twilight.
Mm-hmm. He's talking about that, which, he's met him face to face and didn't realize it.
And Lloyd already has. Twilight has already figured it out, so it's already one step ahead.
Yep.
So it's like, you're supposed to be one of the best, but I'm wondering if it's going to be one of the, he's just that good. You're not
apparently,
going to.
I've heard, because this is based on manga again.
Okay.
I've heard that Yuri isn't really a major factor, at least so far.
Okay.
He does there's apparently some part of a story where he hangs out with Anya and weird, funny things happen there.
Yeah, because Anya's going to figure it out, because,
Yeah, because at this point she hasn't met Yuri because she fell asleep.
I'm surprised with all that yelling she didn't wake up. She almost did.
Apparently the very final episode, which is about the penguins in the aquarium, apparently was a weird extra, and the manga is actually chronologically a little earlier or something, so it's some weirdness there. But also, of course, there's the best episode, which is the Dodgeball one. That episode just cracks me up for multiple reasons. One, okay, it's Dodgeball, and there's the room of the MVP of the Dodgeball game is going to get a Stella, which is this whole thing, this ranking thing they do in the school. Stella's, like, enough of them, you become an Imperial Scholar. And
that's the one of the goals for Anya is to get enough so she becomes an Imperial Scholar and gets invited to the whole thing where then Lloyd can meet.
Yeah, so Lloyd and Anya can then go to Desmond's house and then...
the Desmond's house, that's the secondary, because this one, it's the big ball, basically, the only Imperial Scholars get to go to. With
Damien's father will only show up at these Imperial Scholar things, so that's how they get into that.
Yeah, that's plan A.
But, so... Anya trains to do the dodgeball thing from, of course, Yor is training her, and Yor is scary because we see her whip a dodgeball like 1,000 miles per hour down the park and destroy a couple trees in the process.
Yep.
So anyways, the dodgeball game comes, and also, of course, everyone's heard the rumor that there's a Stella for the MVP, and Damien wants it, and then, of course, they meet their competition, their opponents, and all of them are normal except for one. Bill. Bill is an enormous 6-year-old. He looks like a full-sized adult.
You know how we were talking about how Anya sounds like the kid she is?
Yeah.
This is the opposite.
Bill is enormous. He to the point everyone's like, is he even at our age? Like, Becky just straight up called, is he even a 6-year-old? And he's just like super smart and super strong and everything, and he's just
3 times
single-handedly taking out everyone on the other team. Then we cut to him training, and then we find his dad's even bigger, like twice his height. So his dad's like 10 feet tall.
So the thing is, dad's like a general or something. It's just some sort of high-rank military official.
So, it's also just funny hearing a grown, what sounds like a grown man saying, "Daddy."
Yep. Yeah.
And he's doing this all for her, honor, because he has to prove himself to dad, so he has to get a Stella, and then, they find out, there's no Stella for something like this.
You don't get Stellas for planning a dodgeball.
However, there's a Tonitrus fault for telling another student to die, Bill. Oops.
Yes. The training montage. God, the training montage was a reference to was it Rocky?
A little bit.
Yeah, it was including the running up the stairs and the jump and cheering at the top of the stairs. It had that whole scene.
And of course, also Anya comes up with learns from Yor and comes up with a special attack and everything. You can do it. They have the big old sequence and everything. And Bill's like, no, because she's also reading his mind and dodging everything, so he's freaking out. He's like, no, and then she does it. The wind up and right into the ground. And it's just love that this wide long shot of just that happening, and then it's ball rolling over to Bill, and he just picks it up and
yep.
It's so amazing. I laugh every single time.
Oh man, and that same one, it's when the shot was heading towards
Damien
and his lackeys.
Yeah, the slow-mo up and everything. And then
yeah.
And then just
lying on the ground.
Because the one was like, wait, he got hit in the head. It doesn't count. He's reaction. Then he got hit again. And then you're like, oh, they are freaking out.
Yep.
Of course, even if he gets, considering what Bill's throwing, even if it doesn't count, he's probably not getting up again.
Yeah. That whole thing.
I loved that episode so much.
Was so great.
I mean, the episodes are great. I like also the aquarium and the whole. That one bit where Anya knows that this guy is an enemy, and so help, mom's kidnapping me, and then Yor comes along and just kicks him straight up in the ceiling. He's dangling from the ceiling, and Anya goes, wow. And then a little bit later, Lloyd walks by, wow.
in English, yeah, it's great.
Or oh god, crap, what was it? The thing with
the thing at the place.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just. When those teenagers or whatever tried to kidnap Anya.
Yeah.
And Yor
nuh-uh.
punched right through a pumpkin or whatever it was.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like a karate chop straight through a pumpkin.
Anyway,
it was like, holy crap.
Or also when
it wasn't a big pumpkin.
Anya was starting to cry during the interview. Just you see Yor's fingers twitching, ready to kill.
She may not be the her real mother.
Yeah.
Not only is she not the biological mother, but also she knows that the marriage is quote unquote fake.
Yep.
But oh boy, is she taken to the role seriously.
Yep. Even though she,
do not mess with Anya.
Apparently she can't cook, and that weighs heavily on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's like clearly they're a family. As much as Lloyd and Yor seem to think they're not, they're clearly a family.
They clearly are. I'm just curious how it's gonna go in the end. Like, how are they gonna? Because there's got to be a resolution at some
that's one of the things.
But it is a manga. Is a manga ongoing?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no current resolution.
Yeah, the manga's actually not that far ahead of the anime as of this point.
Yeah.
My understanding. Okay, so this is one of the things is this is kind of glossed over, but see if you're paying attention, you notice, which is Lloyd is working for Westalia.
Westalia.
Yeah, Westalia. Yor's working for the other side.
Yeah, it's a weird.
She assassinates people who would betray her country.
Yeah, they didn't
really mention that, but
mention
it's
it
kind
that
of
much.
implied, which some people figured out.
Eventually,
there's a very real chance that Yor and Lloyd are going to possibly fight each other.
Yeah, they're going to be. She's going to get an assignment to take him out. Yeah,
and then things are going to have to get because we know. Well,
wasn't that? I'm trying to remember. I haven't actually seen the movie.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Is that how that one went?
Pretty much went down. They found out they're both, they're different agencies to work for. Found out they're married to each other, is covered, and they're told to take each other out. And
yeah. I haven't seen that one, so
it's a weird movie. It's kind of funny, but it's weird. But anyway, which way? So there's that thing of like, well, we know depending on how that goes. Well, we know Yor can probably win in a one-on-one fight versus Lloyd, and that's
yeah. The question is, will
she want to, or will she be trying to do it initially, but then realize she can't do the killing blow or something?
Yeah, or Anya will show up
because that's going to be one of those things where it's like, I would love to see it.
Well, yeah, that's going to be would be a huge moment, but it would also be a major milestone moment within the series as a whole. It would completely change the direction that the series would go after that point. There's
also they did tease us a little bit in the near final episode, which is a dog.
Oh yes,
I want to get a dog, and we saw a dog who pretty clearly sees images of the Forger family there, and it's like.
Yeah, and they mentioned there's something special about the dogs too.
Yeah, I know the dog is a thing because of
manga and whatnot.
Well, just literally one of the manga covers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's something about the dog.
The dog is special.
The dog, all dogs are special.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, there's all that stuff. There's Anya navigating, school life. Lloyd trying to pretend to be a dad,
everything,
and actually being a dad because pretending that hard. Seeing that whole thing, Lloyd just doesn't know how to be normal, really. He kind of knows, but not really.
Yeah. He knows what it's supposed to be, but doesn't have any experience actually doing it.
He doesn't experience, the real feelings associated with it.
Yeah.
Also, that was one of the other thing where after the penguin, the aquarium, that was one thing was, Anya's about to go in Lloyd's room, and Lloyd told her, very quickly, no, don't do that. And she started crying. That whole thing. You tell the kid not to do this. They freak. They're scared because you scared them.
Yeah, you scared them
because they crying, scared you. And then lifts up the big penguin she now has, and yeah. So Lloyd and Yor following Anya with
playing the game just to get her to calm down.
Candy store. Yeah.
Not supposed to stand out. Although, really, at that point, like, she was crying when you had to stop her. Anyone who's had children or been around children, when you see that's what you're doing, they go, okay, yeah, I get it. I understand.
Yeah, everyone who's around them was seeing, what a cute family.
Yeah.
They see, they're playing with their kid. Oh, and how nice. That's normal.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to understand that part, though. That's the funny thing. He sees, no, we're standing out. It's like, no, you look like a family.
You look like, you just look like a family.
It's nice. It's fine. And, we see Lloyd clearly cares about the other two, but hasn't consciously really made that connection yet.
Yep. Doesn't know quite how to handle it. It's interesting on that point. They made sure to show right in the beginning of the series how he deals with relationships. Mm-hmm. And he's, we hear him think about it as well. Because they show it, like, our first introduction to Twilight is in his previous mission where he just kind of ends a fake relationship in the middle of a date.
He doesn't care.
Because he doesn't care, because it's done and he doesn't need it anymore, so he walks away. That's how we open up with it, and we hear him talk about or think about later. I've never had a serious relationship, never needed to.
Yep. And now
And now suddenly he's there, and it's the siren call of a true relationship isn't pulling on him, and he doesn't know what to do about it.
What do? It's genuinely a lot of fun.
It is. It is so much fun.
It is really refreshing, honestly, to see. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty clearly popular because,
it's the big one for the
selling
season.
out too, whatnot. Like, I have the figure arts all on pre-order, although I had to go to 3 different stores because, like, I forgot the pre-orders were going up, and your sells out. Lloyd's still easy to get, by the way. Lloyd is really easy to get, no problem. But you're selling out everywhere.
Yep.
Society.
We live.
Yeah. So absolutely recommend checking it out. I'm gonna say also it was animated by Cloverworks and Wit Studio. I believe Cloverworks we have talked about them multiple times in the past.
Yep.
Because
Cloverworks popped up. They're a big one.
Yep, all that stuff. But Wit Studio, they have also done Attack on Titan, Ancient Magus Bride.
So we should probably watch eventually.
Outranking of Kings. Yeah, quite a few things. Oh, some Pokemon apparently. I think that's it for this one. We're kind of been on the shorter side, but we kind of already talked a little bit about it already.
Right.
So we kind of didn't want to rehash all that. If you wanted, you can check out
Although
that
we
episode.
still kind of did a little bit, whatever.
A little bit. We didn't go too deep in depth, and that was an important thing. I guess that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can check out other episodes on newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. It's spelled Libsyn. You could subscribe to the RSS feed there, or you can subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or Amazon Podcasts. Most of those are at the top of the Libsyn site, except for Amazon. The thing is, you can subscribe there and keep up to date as they come out. You could also, if you want to contact us, you could go to newtoweeaboo@gmail.com. If you want to have questions or comments or recommendations or whatever for stuff, we are open, to that sort of thing. It may take us a while because some of the schedule is pretty well set already. We might get to it eventually, unless, of course, you recommend to us random crap, or it's like, I know what this is and I've watched it and it's terrible. We're not talking about it.
I know what this is and I haven't watched it because I know what it is.
Anyway, so that's that. You could also follow us on Twitter at newtoweeaboo and keep up to date that way. Sometimes see random anime musings if you want, or if we ever tweet them. And of course, you can follow our personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he's at Alcatraz717 and underscore at the end.
Yep.
So that's it for this one. Tune in next time. We'll be talking about summer anime. Yes, we're doing our sampler. Again.
Sampler platter.
Yep, we're doing that. We're gonna find 4 anime to talk about, and
we'll talk about them.
We'll see how that goes. Take care of yourselves and all that stuff. Apparently now we got to worry about monkeypox.
Yay.
So that's the thing. Yeah, so be safe.
Yep, be safe.
And we'll see you later.
Later.
Set